Yep, perfect. All right. What's going on, everybody? It is Madman Plant. We are here at Strange Fest, and we're living it up as these interviews are live, which are really cool for me because they come out right away for you, and then you can see them instantly here on YouTube. I got Lindy with me here, and we met her here at Strange Fest. And if you haven't been to Strange Fest, it's a music and arts festival. Lots of vendors, lots of music. So, welcome to the show.
Thank you.
So you have kind of a cool history with cannabis. You were like me. I actually was late into the game of cannabis. I really started smoking when I was like around 23 years old is when I started. And then your son got you into cannabis,
Yes.
right?
Yeah.
So talk a little bit about that. Walk us through.
So basically, I grew up as cannabis being bad or illegal, and my father worked for the government. My parents were hippies, so I know, like growing up now, looking back, I know they smoked, but it was absolutely a no in our household because of government jobs.
Yep.
So my son actually, we had a really hard time with him in school from day one. They kept saying, we don't know what's wrong with him. We don't know what's wrong with him. He's highly intelligent, but we don't know what's wrong with him. We don't know where to place him. We don't know what to do with him. So time after time after time again, I took him to therapist after therapist after therapist. He actually did 3 2-hour-long studies. They tried to diagnose him with everything, ADD, bipolar, everything. But they kept saying he didn't meet all the criteria for everything.
Yeah.
So we tried to put him on medicine, and I'm a very holistic person. I did everything from plant-based medicine, but I was taught the marijuana plant was bad, so I never did any research on it at all. So at the age of 12, we tried him on all types of medicine, and he kept saying, I don't like the way this makes me feel. This makes me feel worse. This is terrible. Like, he just kept telling me it was awful, just repeatedly. And so it was constant problems in school. And he was never bad enough for them to do anything to him, but he just couldn't learn in school.
Yeah.
But he was highly intelligent. So he started, I did not know this, but about actually 12 of age, he just started on YouTube, and he found a guy who had been in the military, had PTSD, and he had seizures and all these things.
Oh, wow. Okay.
He watched him and saw what the plant did. And the guy would show like how certain plants would actually make him worse and how certain plants would make it better.
Interesting.
So he was very interested at the age of 12, highly intelligent, started researching more about the plant and actually the different types of plants, what all the chemicals can do, and why does the brain react this way and that way with some. So he took it upon himself, and he learned and educated himself on it. And then he, through friends of ours, because he has an older brother, and learned that he was smoking. I was like, oh no, like this is bad for you. Like it's not going to be good. Like it's gonna mess you up. It's gonna mess your brain up. And he was like, just trust me. He kept telling me, just trust me, just trust me. So I started to notice a difference in his behavior.
Interesting. Okay.
He wasn't indulging. He wasn't doing it just to get high.
Nope.
He wasn't like, I'm which one to run with my friends. He did this on his own, was introduced completely through the internet, through YouTube. Googling things about like his brain, what would make it better, what would help him, because he knew by this point in so many doctors that it was either medication or something. He just wanted help, but he had tried everything. So he educated himself on the plan, and the more and more I started realizing his behaviors were better. He wasn't like high and acting goofy. He just was calmer. They could never figure out why he had such a high agitation. What they found out, it was his cognitive brain formulated at a very high level, but because he couldn't reciprocate the words out, that it made him feel stupid. So he wasn't dumb. He just couldn't reciprocate all the words out fast enough as his brain thought at such a high level. So he learned everything about the plant, everything there was to know about it, and started showing me that it wasn't dangerous, how it was safe. It wasn't just to get high or just to, to have fun with, even though, you can have some laughs and giggles, but he was showing me that he actually could life again instead of being stuck in school. I actually pulled him out of school. They put him in a terrible program called CSUP, which was basically they would lock him up. They would put him in padded rooms and all these terrible things.
It's like solitary confinement.
It was. So they would make it worse. It was the 4 walls.
Interesting. Okay.
So he started learning all about the plant and what it does. And he has taught me since then. Actually, it took our relationship from being, it was the way that we learned to communicate with each other.
Interesting.
Through science, because I was already very holistic and knew all about that. Your body can naturally heal itself. The reason why plant molecules are the same size as our molecules, it can actually bleed through the cell walls. And that is from a plant base, like through melaleuca, that's the exact size that can actually penetrate our cell walls. So as in my holistic love, he taught me about this plant. So it actually from a damaging relationship, because I'm like, why can't you just listen? Why can't you just be good? Like, why you're ruining our lives? To it started a bond between us. He showed me how it helped his brain and that he didn't need medication, that he could learn to regulate himself, and he could learn all the different strains and plants. And so that started at 12, at 13, and now he's 21.
That's amazing. And see, that's what I love. We talk to so many parents on the podcast who have saved their children's lives, or it just works. As a person that has ADHD, anxiety, and depression, I relate a lot with what you said about how your son feels. I've had the same type of feelings. And it is one of those things where, there's a lot of times where like I'll mess up my words, or like I'll say them wrong, or like I'll slur them. It's not that I mean to. It's just everything, like your son is happening so fast, and you're trying to catch up. And then, also too, is the self-realization that pharmaceuticals and the medicine, as somebody that was on Ritalin, Concerta, and Vyvanse, it solves the problem for them. It doesn't necessarily solve the problem for us, that are on it. And one of those values is, it's like it would take away the personality, it'd give you the calmness, but it didn't leave you much feeling. You know what I mean? And when it talks to, when we talk to addicts about like heroin addiction, we talked to this lady during National Cannabis Festival, and like a very short interview, just like we are right now. And we were like, what was your worst day? And she said, my worst day is where I shut all the windows, I'd get down on my hands and knees, and I would be in the carpet with a magnifying glass and a comb trying to find my next hit. And the reason why I love cannabis is I can quit the hard drugs, but I can still feel something. And I love that. And then how it transpired, because like you and I, we were against it at one point. And then to have our eyes opened up and then be part of that community is really valuable. So with that, you and your son, have you ever grown like a pick the plant or genetic and say, we're going to grow this together? And
so he talked me into letting him have a whole entire grow room in our household.
That's amazing.
Which I did not realize how hard it is to acclimate a room compared to acclimating a tent. So I will tell you and so we started, he had one side of the room. I bought my grandparents' home, and my grandfather built it, and he said, can I have the room? And I said, absolutely. He first started by actually hand building his lights, because he learned everything from the lights, and some of it I'm not quite. He is super educated on, so I've grasped a lot from him.
Smarter than I am.
He is very intelligent. So we handmade the lights, which was the ordeal. Wow. And so, to be honestly real with you, if you want me to be real, I grew up. My girls, I lost my husband to addiction.
I'm so sorry to hear that.
So I, through COVID and all that, to be real with you, COVID, we got that extra money through COVID. And so I wanted to be able to invest in my kids and what they wanted. And so he showed me the whole plan and how it all worked. He's very strict he likes a high concentrate. I do know that. I do know he doesn't like it made. He likes to be able to wash it and then freeze dry it.
Yep.
That is the way. So we started the plants together, and I cannot believe the amount of science and how more intelligent I am because we did this together.
Yes.
And actually, I took all of my kids out of school and we homeschool.
Okay.
And it is an incredible, huge part of the science. He showed me how to pH up, pH down. He showed me the lack of potassium in the plants. It works a lot like our bodies. The first he showed me, I didn't even know that we started just with random seeds that we have. So then we had to find out which were boys, which were girls. And I didn't even understand. Then you taught me how they get hermaphrodite and all of this. And I was like, this plant is incredible. Mm-hmm. I was like, you can change it, you can manipulate it. And I became honestly so obsessed with the plant and what it does and what a miracle it is. I knew that if the plant can do that and you can manipulate that from the science I've learned through other plants, that this plant has way more healing properties than we're even aware of currently.
Yes, 100%.
So we grew a whole room of them. The first one we did, we trimmed as a family, we grew it as a family, we watered, we bled, sweat, tears as a family, because there wasn't as much research when we started. So he was 16, he's 21 now, 4 or 5 years ago, as much out. So you learn from really hard mistakes with anything from like the fungi getting the little bugs. Like we got the bugs that had to eat the other bugs. Like every day was a new problem. So every day was kind of a new problem. And then thankfully, like places like Grow Depot started opening up in places. And so we started getting a lot more education ourselves. So we were on that brink of just learning. So I learned an incredible amount about the plant and scientifically how much we should use it.
And before we talk, you're like, if I don't know certain terms or what, know much. I don't want people to think I don't know much. You seem to know a lot.
Me?
Yeah.
Oh no, because of
Yeah.
him.
Well, you learn well. You know, you're a good listener because you do know a lot.
Well, to be honest with you, how I actually became holistic at all, like I was
Yeah.
strictly raised in church, strictly raised on like mac and cheese, Cheetos, like good time, is
The
because
Kool-Aid era.
yeah. So the reason I started thinking is why are all of a sudden we have all these problems and all these mental health problems we didn't have before. And my son, I know he wasn't stupid, and
Yeah.
and nobody would help me. So he actually changed my life because of him. I started like cutting out all the dyes and started learning about that. So I started learning about holistic medicine because of him, because I knew he wasn't stupid. And they kept saying, the school system said to me, we have nowhere to place him. So they just kept put him in places. So they made him feel stupid. So he dropped out in 7th grade.
Well, most millionaires are not college graduates. So.
No, like he's got an incredible job because of it. He now works with a water company because I learned how bad the water is in our system, because I learned how bad it was for the plants. And so we have an osmosis system now, and all because of the plant. Like this plant, I've learned so much from the plant itself. I just like from life took it to just the plant and making it to life, because I was like, if it's not good for that plant, it can't be good for us. So he has actually made me be educated. Honestly, it's all becoming because of him. Has not been a good journey. We've had a really, really, really hard road together. But because I knew that he was different, but I knew he was highly intelligent.
Yeah.
And no one could tell me anything different.
Well, I think too, the power of unconditional love, not giving up on your kids. I have a 9-year-old, and really, trying to understand them and the purpose that they're going to serve, even if it's different than yours. And I think when you open up the door like that, not only do you get so much great information and the science and everything that he knows, but you got a relationship with him, and you're able to break free of that. And that's one of the things about cannabis, is whether it's mentally, spiritually, physically helping you, it's bringing people together, just like you and your son. And that's the power of what we're trying to do, is by break that stigma and to show the people that these are the real healing powers. How could you get a mom and a son who have had severe differences throughout their lives, all unified in one path, and now they're aligned all through a plant? So it's powerful stuff.
It's incredible, because I'm like super spiritual.
Yeah.
So like
I can see that.
So like the whole reason why is because we're vendors, and I kept it just kept poking me. Spirit kept being like, go find out what they're about. Go find out what they're about. Like, they're changing the community. Go find what they're about. Because I've learned being in the cannabis community. Now, I'm not super hardcore in the growing, but I'm around it so much that there can be a lot of division. And it's a very sad thing. But I was like, these guys are really trying to create community. They're trying to create change. Just listen, like you said, listen to your kids. Because we grew up in an era that was so blocked and locked on us and programmed a certain way.
Yes.
Children are not. So yes. Children, and they know their bodies at 9, 10, 11, 12, they can tell you, and they know their bodies, and they know what they can do. And this plant, it truly changed us. Now our house smells like it 24/7.
Oh, same here. Even during heavy flower, in a 4x8, we did 3.8 pounds. And the neighbors next door were like, hey, there's Stefan smoke in the house. And Lacey was like, yeah. They're like, we can smell it. And I'm like, I'm sure. I need to get a full built-out room like you guys. We grow in tents, but I think that's so cool, especially with the water and everything. So with that being said, we're coming up into our end here. How do we follow your son? Does he or you? Do you have Instagram, Facebook? So you have your vendor here.
Yeah, so we're a vendor here. So originally, how it all started is we are truly what we stand for. I'm a lot kid. We're Deadheads. So of course, kind of funny. It's like they've always.
Did you go to a concert? One of their concerts?
Yeah, actually. So it was Dead and Company. Since Jerry's gone, it's Dead and Company, and it made me a little teary talking about it. But the last tour that they did, I got to take my son with me. I was my son and my 2 daughters, and we spent the day at lot because I wanted him to see where it originated from, where the fight and it come from, and why. Like, why were they fighting to be? Like, why was the Dead fighting for this? Why it wasn't they were just trying to get high. Also really into like psychedelics and what they can do. Like, it wasn't just about them, the freedom and things like that. They really were fighting for freedom and really fighting for the medical cause of it. So we're Deadheads. That's how we started. We're Lot Life. So we're actually vendors here. We're the Grateful Raver. Our Sacred Souls so we're metaphysical Sacred Souls, Grateful Raver. We're super into music. We're here vending, but our biggest cause is community. We want to actually just keep the light going. As in the dead was, you just got to keep the light shining. You got to keep going.
That's
You
true.
got to be there for each other. You got to support each other. So our big goal is we sell crystals. We sell all of our kids vend, so they're homeschooled. They all vend. They all make stuff. My son got a freeze dryer. He taught me into a freeze dryer. That's our next growth. So the cool part about it is we also have a freeze dryer. We offer that to people to use it like and things. So we end up getting a freeze dryer, and then I learned how cool freeze drying is, and like you can keep all that nutrients and all the foods. So like he taught me about freeze drying to be able to do that. So we have freeze dry, everything from freeze dried candy. That's what he does to be able to keep it going. And we just vend, and honestly, we're just about community and trying to spread the word and the light and keeping together and trying to bridge the gap of wrong programming. Trying to do the reprogramming of this is like good because, like I said, my daughter is 16 now. She lost her father. He fought an addiction and lost his 40. He was like 40, and so when she came about age to start smoking weed, I told her, I said, as long as you're not trying to run from it. But I've never had to put her on anything. So she's learned how to use it as a medical instead of having to go through like therapists and depressions and stuff like that. So all of my kids, we all vend, we all hang out, and we just love the community and just want to, we just want to share the community and share love and light. So really I came to want to help spread your word too and get your word out of what you're doing.
Well, it's great that you're here, and I'm so glad that you jumped on the podcast.
Yeah.
These videos and everything that we're going through and experiencing is a continuous effort, and it needs to stay that way.
Man, just stay open-minded and listen. Just take away the old programming, everybody, and listen to each other. Just listen. It's not what they've said it was, and just be open-minded. Just totally be open-minded. Like I said, I love flower. It's my jam. And it's really, honestly, it's caused me also from I lost my father too also. And it's also, I have a really funny story. My mom, at the last, we went to Pink Floyd's show, and we all got to smoke together for our first time ever.
That's
cool. As a
cool.
family, it was kind of funny. It was kind of like that ironic thing because we would never bring it home. But it was kind of like my mom, and we bonded over Pink Floyd, my dad, and we all lit a joint. We all kind of rolled it down, and it was just a really bonding experience to be able to share that.
That's really great, and that's the community and lifestyle of cannabis. Thank you so much for being on. Guys, we have more podcasts coming your way here at Strange Fest. This was a fantastic one. If you missed it or just tuned in late, you can watch it right now. We will see you guys real soon.